make the trek out to Burning Man for a weekend a day. After a lot of work, oh, there's a lot of play. Party, 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 drama, 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 bitch, bitch, bitch. Year after year, they come back to scratch that itch. They all say their lives have been changed. After many years, lives have been rearranged. That change is what this show is all about. You'll see the impact of Burning Man up and out. So sit back, relax, and cancel all your plans. These are the stories about the shadow of the man.
Hello, and welcome to the Shadow of the Man Show. I am your host, Andy. Yeah, just me today. This is our end of the season 2 and beginning of season 3 year in review show. I did my first year in review last year. The show is going great. It continues to go on and it's growing. This is not an episode where I'm going to say, oh, well, sorry, I'm hanging up my hat and throwing in the towel. We're continue on and we're moving forward. So let's see. So to start with, I thought maybe we would go over just restate like what exactly is this show about? Honestly, like over time, the idea of this show has kind of evolved and it's become a lot more like refined. In the beginning, the idea was about noticing like, you know, the changes that the Burning Man has in like people, places, and things over time. I've pretty much just kind of refined that down to a show about how Burning Man impacts / like influences people over time. You know, and basically the basic question is like, why are we doing this? You know, what keeps people coming back? I once put like a meme out on social media a couple years ago. I think it was after Burning Man 2024 when they were asking for money, you know, because it was the first year it didn't sell out and they were having like budget issues. And, you know, people were going on and on about it. It's just a big party in the desert. Like, why are you raising all this money to, like, you know, do all this, like, regional activity and Borders Without Borders, this and that, the other thing, you know, and it's just a big party. I mean, come on, right? And so I put out this meme saying, it's like, you know, there's some people who've been doing this for, like, 40 years. I mean, some people who've made this their life, their life's work, you know, and would throwing a party for a constantly rotating cast of like mainly 20 to 30-year-olds, although the age range has been increasing, you know, it's like just throwing a party, like, is that worthwhile? Would that keep you coming back like year after year after year? I don't know. It wouldn't for me, right? It's got to be more to it than that. So how does this show work? The show is this is basically my gift to the community. It's a free show. There's no sponsorship. There's no advertising. Burning Man doesn't pay me. I'm not a Burning Man employee. I'm just, I guess you would say I'm an artist. I don't know. And this is my art form. I don't know if anyone knows anything about me. It's like, I like talking to people, you know, and people like talking to me. And in so doing, like, I mean, it's funny. Like, yeah, I do like talking, but I'm actually more interested in getting other people to share their stories. So I often tell my guests, like, I'm like, hey, number one, I'm extremely lazy. Right. So, and I don't really like to have to like go back and edit like all sorts of things. It's like essentially the vast majority of these episodes, like after I record them, I just put them into, I use GarageBand. And I know it's not very sophisticated, but you know, I have a template that I made and I put it into GarageBand. I just kind of chop off like a little bit in the beginning, have like a guest release I have the guests like agree to in the beginning. I just kind of cut that part off, and then just paste it in, and then just manipulate a couple little lines here and there, and then boom, make it MP3 and an MP4 out of it, and it's ready to go. I mean, there's also like I do the episode art, and so I always like I'm asking like the guests for an image of themselves. I always ask them. I always say the same thing. I'm like, okay, I need an image of you for the episode art, preferably something from the playa, your first year if you have it, but anything you want will work, right? The only caveat I have is no nudity. The one time one guest tried to do something like that, she instantly regretted it, and so we had to take that one back. Yeah, so unfiltered conversations. So I'm lazy and I don't like to edit, but also at the same time I want this to be like the authentic story of the guest. This it's not the Andi show. Right? I want it to be like the guest's own words coming through loud and clear. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm like doing like creative editing or like manipulating like what people say. Another thing of like how the show works is I don't know, I'm really going for equity and like a diversity in this show. Since the beginning, I've had a strict like 50-50 representation of men and women. I've had people of all different backgrounds, colors, creeds, races, places around the world. I mean, I've had done interviews with people like in Malta, in Bali, in Spain, in England, like all over the US and New Zealand. And so this is what, episode 83. I mean, I would like to continue roving around the world and sampling more people. I would love to talk to, I've been trying to get Mariano, and it was Argentina. There's definitely a lot of like European burners. I'd love to interview them. More interviews like in Asia. Interviews just all over the place. And another thing I've been really trying to do with this show, like, cause we'll get into this, but like I have my theories about, it's just like, well, what keeps you coming back and why do this? And what's this all about? It's like, I do definitely do have my little pet theory, but I try not to bias the guests, like with what I think. Like I try not to like lead them down a garden path, I want these to all be like authentic stories and like reasonings, from people. So why am I doing this show? Like, I mean, honestly, I came back to Burning Man after a 13-year absence, and I kind of looked around, and it's like, oh, what can I do? How can I get back and involved? And I tried this or that, and nothing felt right. And I don't know. I was just really interested in this question of just like how does Burning Man impact people like over time, And I kind of looked around, and I have a lot of friends from Burning Man, and I was realizing even people that I thought I knew pretty well, it's just like there's all sorts of stuff in their story like I just never knew. And so one of the prime reasons for doing this show is a genuine like personal curiosity about the guests. And it's like what makes them tick, and then also to get them from their own mouth, just like, yeah, like why are they doing this? Like why stick with it? Yeah, it's also, I have this pet theory I kind of came to about Burning Man many years ago. Like for me personally, it's all about something I call the connection, right? And honestly, I mean, you may hear it too, like through all these interviews, it's like one of the most common things people mention. When I ask, it's like, why come back? And they're just like friends, family, connections, people you meet. It's some people call it a chosen family. there's many people who come from like many backgrounds, many broken families. Some people are like leaving an oppressive like religion or relationship or marriage or state or and they're looking to get out of something. But and then but in the natural human condition, it's like you want human connection. And so I think this is what people have found on the planet. And so this show is kind of I don't know, I haven't really talked too much about it, but yeah, I don't know. Is this my kind of experiment to just kind of see, just kind of asking people the three basic questions of just, number one, what is your Burning Man experience? Number two, what is your pre-Burning Man background? And number three, how has Burning Man impacted and or influenced your life? And then just get them to tell me their story. And quite a lot of times it kind of reinforces my actual priors. Although, if you've been listening to all these episodes, it's like people say all sorts of things. Another reason why I do this show is I really want to give a platform to people to explain their role in all of this. I've been interviewing the gamut from like the founders of Burning Man to like down to like the Shadow Shorts, where we just like take a random sampling of just people who are just like walking across the playa. It's like, who are you? Here, tell me about how Burning Man's impacted you. And almost to a person, people are like super eager to be like, oh yeah, I'll tell you about that because it means a lot to me. I'm also trying to, put the human back in the legend sometimes, and also to kind of give like some voice to the voiceless. There's many people who like kind of toil away in the background, and they volunteer like, oh, I've been working DPW, oh, I've been working gate or this or that, for years. And they contribute, they give back so much, but like nobody knows who they are, and we all just see the results of it. This is like, oh, the streets are straight and they're marked and I know how to get from here to there. But like, nobody really thinks about, the people who actually do all of these things and just tirelessly like year after year. And so, yeah, I mean, the idea of the show is to give a platform for people to kind of, say loud and proud. It's like, yeah, this is what I've done and I'm proud of it. And this is what it means to me. And this is why I'm coming back and doing it. Another reason why I do this show is I'm kind of hoping in some ways this show provides a bridge between generations, like based on all of our shared experience. I mean, Burning Man is definitely it's in flux. Well, Burning Man's always been this like evolutionary kind of thing and it's always changing. But like, now what 30, 40, whatever years in, like the main founders, like many people who've been doing it for like years and years, like they're in their like 60s and their 70s, and we now have groups of like the Rising Sparks and a lot of like newer and younger burners coming in. And if this is going to be a sustainable long-term thing, I mean, it's like you have to have new people come in and take over for the old people, but what if the original thing remains, right? I mean, sure, it's all an experiment in living. Sure, it's all like an evolution, like every year it kind of changes this and that. I mean, I was gone for 13 years. And when I came back, it's like, oh yeah, many things have changed, but you know what? There's many things that are still the same. I think that this whole reason for the show, like, why are people coming back? It's like, what are these like reasons? Like, I think those are like the foundational things that need to get preserved from one generation to another, right? So that's yet another reason why doing this show. It's like, yeah, we could talk to all these like old timers. But also, I mean, there's people they've only like in the Shadow Shorts, a couple of people, they're like, oh yeah, this is only their second year. The only caveat I have is like, I don't want to really interview people about how Burning Man has changed their life if they're just showed up on the playa for the first time. Like, you have to have some period of of time, for the change to actually do something. So intergenerational bridge, at least that's one of the hopes. So what's happened with this show like over time? Let's go over like a couple of the stats and things. So season 1, there were 26 episodes, right? We had 3,137 downloads. It started off in August of 2024, and the original idea was a once a month show. I tried to ramp up slowly, and I wanted to make this all sustainable because, it's like I have a life, I have a family, I have a son, I have a job, like this is not, there's no like a Shadow of the Man glass tower here in Pupukea, Hawaii. There's no corporate lunchroom, no golden key to the bathroom, for the executives, this is just something I'm doing on my part-time here and there, right? So at first I was like, let's make this easy, right? And I just did like a once a month show. And then after a couple of months, I was like, I could do 2 a month, And then I started doing more interviews and more interviews and more interviews. And then I developed a backstock of episodes. So then in season 2, like almost halfway, like in January, we'll get into that in season 2. Like, so season 1 went from once a month to twice a month, right? The most popular episode was Coyote. And also on Shouting Fire, we did like every other Friday. So twice a month did the Shouting Fire reruns. That was season 1. So now season 2, going from August of 25 to August of 26. So as of today, right now, Sunday, August 9th, was 6,135 downloads, and there's 57 episodes. And the most popular episode in season 2 is my good friend Jenny K. Why Jenny K? I don't know. Maybe because she's awesome. She is totally awesome. I don't know. There was a spike earlier this year. All of a sudden, it's like now Jenny K is like over 100 more downloads than Danger Ranger. And it's just blowing everyone away. Let's see, other season 2 changes. So starting in January 2026, so it went from a twice a month show to a once a week. And these are the full episodes, right? So I went to full episodes coming out every Monday. I mean, honestly, like how the calendar works, sometimes it's 4 a month, sometimes it's 5 a month, right? And then also starting in January, I started off airing the Shadow Shorts, which I'll get into Shadow Shorts a little bit more later. But so Burning Man in 2025, I recorded somewhere around 30 some odd like Shadow Shorts. What a Shadow Short is basically I challenge people on the playa. I said, okay, in 5 minutes or less, explain how Burning Man has impacted your life, right? I just hold up this like little sign that just says name, where you're from, years burning, and how Burning Man's impacted you. And so I just turn on the recorder, I point, and they answer it however they want. You could say whatever name you want. You could say wherever you want. You could say I'm like the burning cauldron, and I'm from Pluto, whatever. I don't care, And they've been some incredible episodes. So starting this year, I made enough so that I could make it. I think it's enough to kind of get me to now to end of August, enough for like from January through August. But then I needed more, because I was also like, well, I'm taking my son to college this year, so I can't go to Burning Man in 26. So how am I going to get more shorts? So I actually wound up going to unscrews in May where I collected some more. So hopefully that's going to get me through to, I think that'll get me through to like March or something of next year. And then my good friend Playa Pete, he was one of the first season episodes, very popular episode, one of the, I think the top 5 episodes. He's actually going to be doing an awesome job for me going out and collecting shadow shorts on the playa this year, 2026. So you might be accosted by a jolly man like asking you to record like how you think Brady Man's impacted your life in 5 minutes or less. Okay, so other season 2 things. So the Shouting Fire reruns was just once a week, right? But like since my cadence went up to like once the Shouting Fire reruns was twice a month, right? So then once I kind of moved the show up to once a week, I decided, well, maybe I'll make my Shouting Fire reruns go to once a week. So now on Shouting Fire, every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, you can, if you go to shoutingfire.com, you can tune in and hear one of the reruns. Let's see, other things about season 2. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but the equity. And what I mean by that equity is I want to have a diversity of guests. You know, it's like I want to have a diversity of opinions. So I don't want it to all just be, you know, just like one type of person from one type of place. You know, it's an older white man from San Francisco. Yeah, there's plenty of those. You know, I mean, and you know, I wanted experienced voices that are just across the board, across the spectrum. And very, very early on, I made a commitment to like, you know, half men, half women. Honestly, it's kind of strange. It's like finding people to interview over time has changed. It's definitely gotten a lot easier as the show has gotten like more play, more popular, but men tend to be easier to wrangle into an interview than women. I don't know why. I think sometimes it's like women just are a little more like reluctant, but I've really, really tried, and I think I successfully succeeded, you know, in having as many female voices as male voices. I also have black burners, I have Asian burners, Latino burners, trans burners, people from just all across the spectrum. And yeah, I've also tried to build like a sustainable workflow, because I mean, like if this is going to be like an undue burden for me, then it's like, how can I continue this? You know, like how can you keep it going? You know, like I don't want to burn the candle at both ends. You know, it's like I don't want to burn out. You know, it's a fun project that I want to have fun, and I want my guests to have fun, and I want my listeners to enjoy it and them to have fun. You know, it's like it's not a job. You know, it's a gift, really. You know, so yeah, I built up this sustainable workflow where I pretty much do on average like an interview a week, and I'm roughly always about 2 months in advance. So sometimes you'll hear in the interviews like we'll be discussing things. It's like, you know, or I don't know. I try to put like timestamps. He was like, oh, this just happened, you know, but sometimes that kind of comes out, you know, so you might just be like, oh yeah, that, you know, that was recorded like well in advance, or things have kind of changed by now. And then yeah, and in terms of like getting guests, like at first it was people I knew, but kind of going along with this whole theory of like connection, and that's one of the main kind of themes behind this whole show is connection. You know, it's like one connection like leads to another, you know? I mean, sometimes I cold call people. I just kind of like, oh, wow, they'd be an interesting person. Or somebody like, you know, they'll suggest someone to me and be like, oh, okay. And I'll just kind of find them on Facebook or send them like a messenger message or this and that, or find an email address or this and that. And I got to tell you, I have a pretty low success rate You know, even if they kind of look me up on Facebook, whatever, and just be like, oh wow, we have like 56 friends in common. You know, and they're just kind of like, I don't know who you are, you know. But I found that like once I have a person on, a guest, an interviewee on, you know, at the end, like that was one of the things I always ask them was like, hey, is there anyone that, you know, you would suggest, or anyone that you would know, and could you please like introduce me to them? You know, that in being introduced like tends to work way better. But yeah, so that's kind of the process of like how I get guests. It's honestly, it's like it's very organic. And also in terms of like curation, you're just like, oh, how do you like, you know like which guests to put here or there? Honestly, it's just kind of who shows up. Really. I mean, sometimes I have these grand ideas. So it's like, oh, well, this month is going to be Burners Without Borders month. And, you know, I'm going to interview like 4 people from Burners Without Borders or whatever, you know, I don't know, the best laid plans, just like, you know, camp plan layouts on the playa. You know, playa, Burning Man is the place where best laid plans go to die. Right. You can try, you know, curating this stuff, you know, and like in the guess in the order, but honestly, it's just kind of like who shows up. I'm like, well, there you go. That's how it is. All right. So that's pretty much season 2. Like, so for season 3 coming up, there's going to be somewhere in the vicinity of 78 episodes. So if season 2 is 57, right? Because we moved from twice a month to 4 month, like full shows, and then added in the you know, bi-weekly like shadow shorts. So that became 57 episodes. So if I just maintain the once a week full episodes and once every 2 week shadow shorts, that's 78 episodes over the course of this next year. Now, there is the whole shadow shorts thing. It could turn out that, you know, if I collect like a whole lot more, I mean, essentially I need 26 shadow shorts to last me like a full year. Right. That's pretty doable. Like if you get like on the playa for like a week, I mean, I think last year I collected like 30 of them or something like that, but I'm just not sure if I'm going to be able to make it back to Black Rock City like every year on year, you know. But you know, if Playa Pete collects me 30 or more like in a few weeks, and then if I'm contemplating like, oh, I don't know, maybe we'll go back to unscrews next year or something else. You know, it's like, I don't know. What if I collected like 60 of them? You know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe shadow shorts can go to like a once a week as well. What if I collected 100, 200, 300 of them? You know, like, I mean, I could like package them up and be like, okay, once a week, like 2 of them once a week or whatever. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. So 78 episodes a year. Like if Shadow Shorts goes to weekly, that would be like 104 episodes a year or something. Yeah. Yeah. It's getting to be a little prolific. So, but again, it's all with the mind of sustainability. Right. I mean, like if I can't sustainably do this, it's like I don't want to burn myself out and I don't want to just go and reach a crescendo and just be like, well, I'm sick of this. Goodbye. And it's just over. Right. Okay. So other things for season 3. So yeah, so we have the reruns on Shouting Fire, which you can find at shoutingfire.com. But also Metric has started a radio station with stewards of the Black Rock Desert called KBRU 92.5 FM. I think if you just type in, like do a Google search for KBRU 92.5, whatever, you could find it. And so I think they broadcast there out of Gerlach. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the internet or not either. But So he's gonna start replaying some of the older episodes as well. So it'll be 2 rerun outlets. Yeah, and you can actually hear it over the airwaves in Gerlach. And then also for season 3 coming up is going to be in November at some point, my 100th episode. It's kind of funny to think I've only been doing this like 2 years, and I don't know. I think over time, like my ability and experience of like interviewing people has definitely like refined and grown like over time. And I don't know, hopefully it comes through. The show reflects that. I don't know. You tell me. So yeah, so the Shadow Shorts. So the Shadow Shorts, it started in the beginning of season 2. So I was going back to the playa, and I don't know. I kind of wanted to like help spread the word about my show. I wanted people to know about it. And I was like, well, how do we do that? Like, do I put up billboards up across Black Rock City? No, you can't do that. If I gotta be, putting decoder rings in people's like cereal boxes on the plot. No. So I was like, well, I'm not just gonna go out there and like hold a sign, be like, please listen to my show. So I came up with this plan. It was just like, well, you know what? I'm interviewing like Danger Ranger and Harley, and then next week Will Roger, John Law, and all these like big name people, and people all across the spectrum, like, from like volunteers to artists to they don't, but what about just like regular participants, right? And so that's kind of like what began as just kind of almost like a promotional kind of thing, quickly morphed into like you know what, this would be a great thing to do, to include more inclusion, more diversity, more just random people, completely uncurated, just whoever, just an opt-in participatory type of like experience. And the Shadow Shorts have like really taken off. I gotta say, with the equipment, so I got this digital recorder, and I got these 2 like Shure like microphones, and the first like 6 or 8 of the ones that I recorded on the playa is just like horrible wind noise. I'm not gonna replicate it right now. So they were just like unusable. I mean, only later on, after my friend Twan came and visited me and we were messing around with the recorder, I was like, oh, this is how it works. Like, so I wasn't realizing that it was actually recording through the internal microphone and not the microphones I was plugging in. So yeah. So the noise is pretty bad. But all that figured out when I did the Shadow Shorts at Unscrews. I simplified it and just used the internal microphone, and I plugged in like some good headphones where I can actually like listen to it like recording as it's recording. So even though, as you'll hear on the Shadow Shorts from the Unscrews recordings, there is a sound camp that's not actually that close, but it is quite loud. And sometimes there's people like walking by with like, megaphones and stuff, but I think that I kind of dialed in the equipment so you can actually hear the people's genuine stories like very easily with a minimum of like rustling and no wind noise. Yeah, so with the amount of Shadow Shorts I have now, like I said, that kind of gets me through to like March. And so if I don't get any more, then there's not going to be anymore. So my friend Playa Pete is going to be out on the playa this year. He's not going to be we haven't quite worked it all out yet, but he's not going to be any place particular. He's probably just going to like wander the playa, just like randomly accosting people to take the whatever it's calling the Shadow Shorts challenge. It's like in 5 minutes or less, explain Burning Man's impact on your life. Quite a lot of people just readily jump to the challenge. You're like, all right, I'll tell you. And honestly, I would like to find more volunteers. I mean, I would like to get more of these shadow shorts stories, like more than just at Black Rock City, more than just, regional events that I can make it to that are like close for me to get to from Hawaii, like I would love for someone to collect stories for me from like Africa Burn or Dragon Burn or Nowhere or like any like South America, Europe, Asia. I mean, if anyone out there is listening to this and you want to help me out, drop me a line at shadowofthemanpodcast@gmail.com and we can talk. And yeah, I mean, if there's more Shadow Shorts, then I guess I'll put out more of these Shadow Shorts episodes. That's the other things, new things this year. So yeah, the technology has been kind of evolving. I mean, this whole thing has been a personal journey for me. As I always joke around, I always say, like, the universe. I'm definitely sure now the universe thinks I'm supposed to be Amish, because like quite frequently, just even the simplest of technology just fails, just doesn't work. And then I'll have like some just random person be like, I don't know, I press the button but nothing works, and they come, they press the button and it works. I'm like, So anyway, I've gotten much better at using the technology. I do these interviews on Zoom. I've managed to like figure out Zoom, like, and how it all works and the scheduling. So it's like people don't like forget, like when the time comes to do the interview, like there's automated, reminders going out. I finally, after a long time, figured out how to do multi-track recording in Zoom. Yeah. I mean, there were definitely a couple of episodes. I think Athena was one of them where like the guest voice was like really low and kind of hard to hear. And, mine came through loud and clear, but, yeah, so two pieces of technology like helped me improve that. So I also got a new mixer. It's a Rodecaster Duo. And so at the beginning of every interview, like I actually check the levels and like and adjust them. I mean, for most people, most cases, it just works out just fine. I mean, there's a couple of people I had to like adjust it like a little bit, but yeah. And so that was the advent of like multi-channel like recording and adjusting like levels and volumes. It's something that even I was like reading about on the internet. I'm just like, what do you mean adjust the levels? What the hell is that supposed to mean? But yeah. Eventually figured all that out. I also got a new microphone. Instead of using my son's microphone he was using for gaming with friends, I actually got a Rode Procaster microphone, which I don't know. Hopefully you can hear the difference, but I don't know. It sounds good. Great. I like it. Let's see, other tech, social media. Yeah, that's another thing that over time, it took me a while to kind of figure out and then get more consistent with. And then when the show was like once a month and then twice a month, it's like, I was posting things here and posting things there and just, I don't know. I didn't want to be like, oh, it's that spamming guy. He's spamming us with his podcast all the time. So in January 2026, when the long version of the show, the regular version of the show went to once a week, and then I started up the Shadow Shorts at like, bi-weekly. I was like, I can't be spamming like all of these different places and all these different groups, 6 times a month. So what I started with was I made this like monthly promotion, kind of almost like a poster, right? So, and it depends upon like each month is different, right? With the calendar. So some months there'll be like 5 regular episodes, like on Mondays, and then 4 Shouting Fire reruns on Wednesdays, and then there'll be 2 Shadow Shorts episodes on Fridays. But like some months there's 3 Shadow Shorts instead of 2. Like some months there's 4 versus 5 regular episodes or Shouting Fire episodes. So each month's a little bit different. So each month I'll make this poster, and that's what I spam around everywhere. So like to all these different groups, to help get the word out. So instead of 6 times a month, it's just once a month. And then I also put it on the bottom. This is like, hey, like if you want to get like more up to the minute, like, alerts on episodes that are coming out, it's like, please subscribe to, the show's like Instagram and Facebook, and we're on Blue Sky and we're on X. Although, to be honest with you, I think like Instagram has the most followers, followed by Facebook, and then Blue Sky, and then X is like a distant third. I don't know. I'm just kind of putting it out there and like on Blue Sky and X, but I'm not sure who that's actually reaching. I don't know. If you're on those platforms and you would like to subscribe, it's like, yeah, just look up shadowoftheman.com, or look at our monthly promotions. You'll see there's links to all of these different things. So season 3, what do I have from like a wish list? It's like, what do I like to see? What am I planning on doing? I'm going to maintain the cadence, that we have now. It's very sustainable. Like the regular Monday, like shows, which are typically hour and 15, hour and 20, whatever. John Law went about 2 hours before I was like, okay, we got this is long enough. I mean, in many more ways than one, I'm no Joe Rogan. I'm not going to be doing freaking 3-hour shows. Like I don't think anyone's going to sit through that. And I definitely don't have the reach that he does. Yeah, I'd like to put a call out for guests. Like if there's anyone, if you like the show and you're just like, I'd really like to hear this person's story, or like you kind of, somebody like, oh yeah, this person would like to be on the show, or I would like this person to be on the show, and I can introduce you to them. Please reach out to me at shadowofthemanpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll talk. You can also use that same email address to give me some feedback about the show. I mean, other than like talking to people like here or there, like I don't really know like what people think about the show. It's like I said, like this is just my kind of art project. It's my gift to the Burning Man community. I'm just doing it and just putting it out there. But like every so often I'll come across someone just like, I really like your show. I don't know. Maybe you hate my show, or maybe you think there's things that could be fixed, or maybe there's some sort of technical thing. It's like, oh yeah, that buzzing sound, it's like all you have to do is move the dial to like 11 or whatever. Please, I love and welcome any and all feedback. Another thing I think I'm going to experiment around with in season 3. So, okay. When I do these Zoom interviews, it records, and now it records multi-channel, which is awesome. It records the audio, but it also records the video. And for the first 2 seasons, I've just been routinely dumping the video because I'm like, I don't have that like, I mean, I guess I do have the storage space, but like, I don't know. I thought like going ahead, like in time, it was just like, I'd be using like terabytes and terabytes of like data, and I'm like, I mean, I didn't think I had enough space. So I just routinely just dumped it all. So starting in season 3, starting with the first episode, season 3, episode 84, Will Roger, I'm now actually saving the video. What I do with it, well, we'll have to see. I would like to put it out. I mean, I guess perhaps like YouTube or something. But that's a whole other level of sophistication and like editing and processing. And like, again, like this has to be a sustainable thing for me to do. It can't take up too much of my time, you know. So I don't know. I'm at least at this point going to save the video. Hopefully I'll have some kind of announcement coming up in some number of months or whatever. Just be like, aha, the show is now video starting in season 3. And then going along with that, would go in the video. I mean, it would still be audio, you know, it would still be like a podcast. You could find like the Apple Podcast or Spotify or whatever. But then there also would be like a separate, like, you know, video channel component, whatever. And then as I understand how everything is done these days, it's like, oh, you got to put out a reel. You got to put out reels, right? So with the video, perhaps I can start like putting reels out on social media, you know, like the short minute videos, maybe even get with the times and get a TikTok, you know, get an account in TikTok, and we can maybe have some TikTok like reels going on. They call them reels. I don't know. I'm old. Other wish lists for season 3. Yeah, I would like to actually have a website. I mean, the site is from the podcasting service, and so it's just basically focused on just like the episodes and the downloads and stuff. But I would like to actually have because I have shadowoftheman.com, and that's been another kind of issue. Like if you just type in shadowoftheman.com, it basically it forwards it to Buzzsprout, you know, where the show is. But if you just kind of search up, it'll come up like, oh, like this is an unsecured website. And so I think a lot of people were like, oh, he's trying to scam me or something. But yeah, that's why I always put out the Buzzsprout URL for people to go to. But I would like to actually have a website. And again, like doing the videos, it's like, there's a sustainability. It's like, what can I do? Like, how much time do I have? You know, again, I don't know if I said this before, but this is all just me, one person doing all of this. You know, like there's no glass tower. I don't have like minions, like little yellow things with one eye, you know, like running around, you know, like making things happen. Like I have a wife who's just like, what? You're still working on that? You know, like, oh, she's lovely. Everybody loves her. So yeah, a website might be a nice addition. We'll have to see about that. Also, another thing I thought of was like, what about some sort of like forum for the show? You know, a place where like listeners can kind of congregate and discuss. You know, I mean, I do have like my Facebook page, now, but I don't know. I mean, perhaps to create more of a shadow of the man community might be a good idea. But again, you know, more work for pour moi, you know. Another wish list for season 3. I'd like to get shadow shorts from more places. I mean, hopefully the Playa Pete, the Playa this year. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I told him I need a minimum of 4, and if he could get me 15, that'd be awesome. But if he comes back with like 45, I'm going to be over the moon. I'll be like, yeah. But we'll see. No pressure, Playa Pete. But would there be anybody else out there? Someone be like, you know what? I'm going to nowhere. I'm going to Dragonburn. Like, I'm going to was it Tierra del Fuego? I don't know. I'd be like any number of different like regional events. It's like, yeah, you know, it's like I'll mail you my digital recorder, you know, or if you have one, you can record them. Like it's a very simple process, and I can just like walk you through it in an email, and it's a lot of fun to just kind of wander around and accost random people and say like, do you want to take the Shadow Shorts challenge? Explain Birdie Man's influence on your life, the impact in your life in 5 minutes or less. Okay, here's the clock. Here's 5 minutes. Go. You know, people, you know, but the answers are amazing. It's all just completely unscripted, just straight off the tongue. Just like, you know, like everyone says the Birdie Man's changed their life. It's like, oh yeah, how? You know, like you have 5 minutes, explain like that. And if you've listened to the episodes, they're really good. And so with that in mind, for Burning Man of 2027, I know it's still a little more than a year away, but I'm making my grand plans to return back to the playa. I'm going to return with my brother and our theme camp, the Cult of Distraction, and we are aiming to be in center camp, and we're going to have our donut machine, and we're going to have our alcohol-free bar, and then the other thing that I'm going to do is collect more shadow shorts. But I think for Burning Man 2027 in Black Rock City, what I would like to do is actually do it at the Center Camp Pavilion. I mean, I could do 1 hour a day. If they'll give it to me, I'll do 2 hours a day. I would love to do like 10 to noon, Monday through Friday, and I'll put like an open call, and we'll put it out there. It's like, hey, you've listened to this show. You're listening right now. It's like, hey, you want to come out? You want to be on a Shadow Shorts episode? Come out to the Center Camp Pavilion and be on the show. And I don't know. Hopefully I can record like 100 or more of them there, and everyone can all participate and join in as well. Well, I'm actually talked for 51 minutes. Wow. This is actually a lot longer than I thought I was going to talk for. But yeah, that's pretty much it for season 2. The shadow grows, I mean, in season 3, it's continuing to grow. I have a lot of what I call lines in the water in terms of guests. I must have like 20, 30 different people, like people who are like, oh yeah, I'll do it, but I can't commit to a time right now. Or especially right now as Burning Man's about to happen. It's like, I mean, this is basically a blackout period. It's like, I have one interview next weekend, like the 15th or something of August, and then the next interview is going to be like in the middle of September, because like everybody's busy. Like no one wants to do an interview. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there. I have a lot of interesting guests coming up. It should be another really good year, and look out for it. Maybe there'll actually be video. Maybe I'll actually have a website. Maybe there'll actually be some sort of like Shadow of the Band community forum, and then all culminating season 3, beginning of season 4 next year, of doing Shadow Shorts at the Center Camp Pavilion. I don't know. I'll be putting more stuff out there, and I'm putting out a call to all of you listeners. Like if you want to go out there and collect Shadow Shorts for me from regional events, it's like you have people you're like, this person would make a great guest, and I'd love to introduce them to you. I'm all ears. If you have feedback and be like, Andy, you're an asshole, or whatever, I'm willing to listen to anything that anyone has to say. Well, thank you so much for going on this journey with me. I mean, it's not over yet. And there's many, many, many more voices out there. I mean, I was kind of thinking about it. It's just like, how many episodes can you do? And it's like, I don't know. How many people go to Burning Man? Right? I mean, especially with the Shadow Shorts, it's practically like unlimited, But yeah, if there's someone out there you really think should be on the show and you would like to help get on the show, please feel free to contact me. And feel free to contact me at anything you want. It's shadowofthemanpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you throughout this next year. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. The more reviews the show has, the more likely it will even appear in search results. Also, please tell a friend and share this show with anyone that you think might like it. Word of mouth reaches quite far, especially in the Burning Man community. If you would like to contact us, please send an email to shadowofthemanpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow Shadow of the Man on social media at Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, X, and YouTube. The links for all of these are available at shadowoftheman.com. Feel free to use any of these social media accounts to provide any feedback you might have. Your thoughts on the show are greatly appreciated. Thank you, and see you soon for a new episode of The Shadow of the Man.
Thank you for listening to this latest show. We have to make another one, so gotta go. Don't worry, for next month we already have one in the can. Very soon you'll be listening to a new Shadow of the Man.